Hey there, young explorers. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to take a journey together right into the heart of a magical great green forest. I am so incredibly excited to share this story with you because it's all about a man named Ramu. He was a super hard-working woodcutter and, well, he had a magical encounter that literally changed his entire life.
Okay, let's dive into this. What do you think is the greatest treasure in the whole wide world? Is it a giant, heavy wooden chest just overflowing with glittering gold coins, or maybe a huge mountain of sparkling silver? Or is it actually something else completely? Something that money can't even buy. I want you to keep that big question right in the front of your mind as we start our story.
So let me introduce you to our hero, Ramu. He lived in this really quiet, small village right at the very edge of a vast, beautiful green forest. Every single morning, long before the sun even peeked over the tops of the trees, Ramu was already out of bed. He'd grab his trusty, old, plain iron axe, hike deep into the woods, and work incredibly hard chopping wood. He did all of this heavy lifting just so he could sell the wood at the market and feed his loving family. Ramu really didn't have a lot of money or fancy things at all, but he had a wonderful, truly good heart.
But then, one sunny afternoon, disaster struck. Ramu was chopping wood right next to the bank of a wide, sparkling river. His hands were just so tired from swinging that heavy axe all day long, and suddenly, whoosh! The axe slipped right out of his grip. It tumbled through the air and fell into the deep water with a massive splash. Ramu just stood there, staring at the dark water, totally horrified. That axe was his only tool. It was his only way to make a living and take care of his family. And now, it was gone. He sank right down to his knees and began to cry bitterly.
But wait, right when Ramu was feeling his absolute saddest, something absolutely extraordinary happened. The dark, deep river suddenly began to glow. It filled from the bottom up with this super warm, beautiful golden light. And right there, rising straight out of the shimmering, bubbling water, was a radiant forest goddess. She was draped in these beautiful flowing robes, surrounded by a soft, magical light, and she looked down at the crying woodcutter with a really warm, kind smile.
Now, this magical goddess knew exactly why Ramu was crying. She knew he had lost his axe. But instead of just handing it right back to him, she decided to do something very special. She decided she was going to test his character 3 times. She reached deep down into that glowing river and brought up 3 very different axes. First, a golden one, then a silver one, and finally, an iron one. Let's see exactly how Ramu handles this magical test. Now, what's really interesting about this is the incredible, sharp difference between what the goddess offered first and what Ramu actually owned. The goddess reached into the water and pulled out a magnificent golden axe. Just imagine it, gleaming and shining as bright as the sun itself. It was worth way more money than Ramu had ever seen in his entire life. But remember, Ramu's real axe was just a plain, worn, and chipped piece of iron. The goddess held out the heavy, shiny gold and asked gently, "Is this yours?"
Think about what you would do in that moment. It's so shiny, so valuable. But Ramu, he didn't even hesitate. He shook his head firmly and said, "No, goddess. Mine was made of plain iron. I cannot claim what is not mine." He could have easily told a little lie right then and become the richest man in his village in a single second. But his heart was true. He chose to be completely honest.
So the goddess just smiled and tried again for her second test. This time, she reached into the river and brought out a stunning, beautiful silver axe. It was incredibly cool and bright, shining just like moonlight reflecting in the dark forest. I mean, it was gorgeous. She looked at Ramu and asked him again, "Is this one yours?" And once again, Ramu stayed completely true to his heart. He looked at that beautiful silver and said honestly, "No, that is not mine either."
Finally, for the 3rd time, the goddess reached into the shimmering water, and this time, she pulled out a worn, old, chipped iron axe, the very one Ramu had dropped. Well, Ramu's face absolutely lit up with pure, shining joy. He didn't care for a second that it wasn't shiny or magical or worth a bunch of coins. He jumped up and shouted, "Yes, that is mine! That is the axe I have carried for 10 years!" He was just so incredibly happy and relieved to have his trusty old tool back.
The forest goddess just beamed with admiration. She had tested him 3 whole times, and 3 times he had chosen the truth over temptation. Even when all that shiny gold and bright silver was right there, right in front of his nose, he didn't stray from the truth. She was so incredibly proud of him that she decided to give him a massive reward.
She didn't just give him back his old iron axe. Nope, she placed all 3 axes, the magical gold one, the beautiful silver one, and his trusty iron one, right into his outstretched hands.
So, the crucial point is exactly what the goddess told Ramu next. She told him that his honesty was the absolute rarest treasure of all. Honesty means choosing the truth over temptation. It means telling the truth, even when telling a little lie might get you something shiny, new, or easy, like a golden axe. Ramu proved that his heart was made of something way, way more valuable than gold.
And just look at how beautifully things turned out for our hard-working woodcutter. Ramu returned to his village richer in wealth, sure, because he could now easily take care of his family and they never went hungry again. But he gained things that are way more important than just money. He gained the deep respect and love of everyone who knew him. He became known as the most honest man in the entire village, bringing him a lasting happiness and peace that shiny objects alone can never, ever buy. Honesty always brings the absolute greatest rewards.
Which brings us right back to you, and a very important question for all of you watching this explainer today. We've seen how Ramu's honesty brought him wonderful rewards and a really happy heart. So I want you to really think about this for a second. How will you choose to be honest today? Whether you're at school with your teachers, playing games with your friends, or just hanging out at home with your family, remember Ramu's iron axe. Always choose the truth. Thank you so much for exploring this magical story with me today, and hey, keep being honest out there.
Like, share and subscribe for more videos.